Okay, day 5. Ladies, first things first, my dishwasher is on, so if you can hear that in the background, I'm really sorry. If you can't, then I was wasting time me saying that. Anyway, I'll get straight to the point. So today, it's going to sound a lot like yesterday in the regard to the fact that I've basically been doing the same thing, just getting to grips with what it is I am doing, and the same is going to happen tomorrow, right? But once we've got to grips with that, I think it's okay. I think I know the principles of what I've got to do, right? It all comes down to outreach, just straight dead outreach. It's just volume of outreach, right? The more you put into that, the more you're going to get out, regardless of how good you are at closing. If you could just consistently bring in people to get on the calls with you, you're going to close some of them, right? So it's just volume at this point, I think, and also I've got to stop procrastination and stop perfectionism more than procrastination, because I've kind of got over that now with the fact that I'm doing this series. I need everything to be like fucking move, right? So it's literally just action, which I can do. I think my camera is inverted, so now my camera's going to look different to my normal video, so I'm going to actually turn that round. Otherwise it's going to look like my video is completely different to normal. I could actually be waffling. Who cares? No one cares. Anyway, now that you're looking at my face from a different angle, I believe that is correct. I could be waffling again, but anyway. That's what I've been up to today. I've kind of just got to go outreach now, and I also need to understand the key principles behind how the structures are working in regards to payment and everything else. Once I got my hands on that, it's more a mental thing, because I know what I've got to do, right? But if you don't know the outcome of what you're doing, then you're never going to be motivated. As much as you can tell yourself you're going to be motivated, if you don't know what you're working towards, it's not easy to actually do it, if that makes sense. Like for example, this is going to sound like a shitty analogy. If you're a donkey and you're going for a carrot, you can see the carrot in front of your face, hence why you keep walking towards that carrot, right? If you don't know what's in front of your face, it might be a bit of money, right? But if you don't know exactly what it is, the motivation isn't going to be there. So if you know exactly what it is, your drive's going to be 10 times more, regardless of what the outcome actually is. You just got to know what it is. And if it's a shitty outcome, then you're not going to be motivated to do it. So it needs to be something that works for everyone. I think that's my kind of take if I was doing everything. But I watched the film today. I watched the film this evening. I've wanted to watch the film for ages, and I kept putting it off because I was like, nah, I need to do this work, But I got round to it, and I've watched it 4 or 5 times now, and it makes me emotional every single time that I watch it. It's like the best film it's just the storyline and the message behind it is like unreal. And I finished the film, and it's going to sound incredibly gay, but I was crying a bit, I'll be honest. It's just because I just direct it back to my story, my kind of life every time. And it's not because it completely explains my life. Sorry, my chair's out of the way. It's not because it completely explains my life, because it doesn't. But what it does do is, let me move this down a bit. What it does do is it kind of puts everything into perspective, and makes you realize that although you might make up everything in your head as being the most important thing in the world at that given moment, you should just live life day by day, because you don't appreciate the things that are in front of you if you've got so much that you're looking forward to. It's like, have you ever been? I'll get to this in a minute. Have you ever been going on a holiday, and all you can think about is that holiday? Like, oh my god, I'm going to the US in a week's time. I'm going to the US in a month. Going to the US in 3 months. I can't stop thinking about it. Oh my god, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I'm going on holiday, oh my god. And then you get to the holiday, and the holiday actually hits you, and you're on the holiday, and it's like, it doesn't feel how you kind of expected it to feel. There's no reason as to why that is. It's not because the holiday isn't good, because obviously it's good. It's not because of that. It's just because you've made it out as this amazing thing in your head, and it just kind of works out with a lot of things. I think this is going to sound really kind of weird, but it's because it's, how do I explain this without sounding like an absolute weirdo? Okay, this is going to sound really fucked, but I'm just going to say it. No, I shouldn't say this. It's not even bad. It's not even bad. If you're talking to a girl, right, and you tell a girl exactly what you do with your life every single day of the year, exactly what you do, and this is going to sound so Andrew Tate-y, I know, but it's just straight truth. If you tell them exactly what you do with every single minute of your day, exactly what you do with your life, there's no intrigue, there's no mystery, right? And with there being no mystery, there's no somewhat interest, because it's like, oh, this guy could be, because you picture a kind of idea in your head, and the same applies to, it's not just girls with you, it's guys with girls, it's kind of everything, right? You picture an idea of this holiday in your head, and because you don't know what it's going to be like, you kind of like imagine all the time. You imagine what it's going to be like, you imagine how crazy it's going to be, you imagine what you're going to do, how it's going to be, what the feeling you're going to get is going to be, everything. And then once it gets to it, it's like, it's there, and you're actually doing it, and it's like, oh, well, it's happened now. Fuck. And then the holiday finishes, and you're on to the next thing. You don't actually appreciate things as it comes. And because you're thinking about the thing in the future for such a long period of time, and you're so excited about it, you then disregard everything that's happening in the present moment. Like, if I'm in Portugal right now, right? If I'm thinking about Portugal every single day, I'm not going to enjoy the day that I'm actually in. I'm not going to enjoy the fact that I'm watching I'm lucky enough to be watching a film with my family. I'm not going to enjoy the fact that I'm able to sit there in peace and quiet reading a book. You kind of disregard it, right? You don't appreciate it as much as you could do if it was the only thing going on in your life at that given moment. I don't think anyone lives in the present nowadays. I think it's a problem. It stops you from enjoying life as much as you really could. And there's so many cringy quotes about living in the present. There's that one from Kung Fu Panda and stuff. That's not what that's just come across my mind now. But I've watched that film, and there's a whole storyline to it, which is basically stating the idea of life and how you look forward to the future so much. You look forward to your dreams. You're like, oh my God, my dream's going to be amazing. Oh my God, I've accomplished my dream. And then your dream happens. You're like, oh, so what's the point of living now? There's nothing to live for anymore. So rather than doing that, I think obviously you can look forward to your dreams, but obviously don't disregard what's happening right in front of your face and appreciate the moments you're in. Like, I'm in Portugal right now, and while I'm in Portugal, I'm still thinking about the future. It's like, yes, it's a good thing about the future, but then again, I'm not enjoying this as much as I really could be. So yeah, anyway, I wrote a whole blog post about that today. I finished the film, and I was that fucking, it hit me hard that, I mean, I've watched it 4 times, but still, it just felt right to write a blog on it. And I think the blog is like 1,500 words or something. I just wrote it, and I'm pretty proud of it actually. But I wrote it, and yeah, I'm gonna upload it as a newsletter. I've got 2 newsletters that I'm doing now. So yeah, I wrote that today. That's one of the things that I did today. But what I've realized is once you actually get over the wall of resistance of doing the work that you're kind of worried about doing or thinking about doing, it's not bad. It's not actually that bad, right? If you want to revise, you're like, oh no, I don't want to revise. You keep putting it off. But once you're actually revising, it's not that bad. And it's not like I speak from experience because I didn't really revise much, but it's just that's kind of an example of it. That's just kind of it's not bad once you start it, man. You just got to do it. You just got to get over your head and be like, I just do it. Fuck it. I don't care. I just do it. I said it yesterday, but it's the same principle. So that's just kind of my take, and I just want to learn how to enjoy the moments that I'm in right now rather than thinking about the future, you know, because you're going to enjoy life so much more. And also with your high dopamine level, so your high, what's the term? Your high dopamine baseline. You always need a hit of dopamine all the time because everyone's so addicted to instant gratification from their phones that they don't actually enjoy the actual dopamine hits that should be dopamine hits when they come, because they feel the same as everything else that goes on in their life, so it doesn't feel as good, right? Because I mean, I keep talking about the same point, but if you're going on a trip, if you're going on a trip and say you're going to Yosemite National Park, which is one of the best, most stunning places I've ever been to in my life, and you're driving around, you don't appreciate, if your dopamine baseline was lower, you'd appreciate it so much more, because your dopamine's going to be up here. It's like, oh my God, look at that view, it's incredible. But then because your dopamine baseline is always getting you hits of this roulette of social media and how you use TikTok, because you suddenly get that hit of, oh my God, this is the content I was looking for, it gives me that hit of dopamine. And you scroll again, keep going, knowing that hit's going to come at some point. You keep going. Oh my God, it hits me again. It's the same amount of dopamine being released somewhat as a view that you get from going on a trip, doing that drive, right? And seeing that view. So you'd enjoy stuff so much more if you can actually discipline yourself to not do those things and not go on your phone for those moments, and actually use your free time as something productive and also intentional. I said this before, but it kind of ties into everything I do day by day, and I really need to fucking get over it, man. I'm getting better, but I'm talking about it because I'm sure I'm not the only one that kind of has the problem with it, and it does fucking disrupt my productivity incredibly badly. So just use your time intentionally, man. And if you're doing one thing, just do that thing. If you're doing another thing, just do that thing. Don't go let this gonna do this. Don't try and do two things at once. Just do one thing at a time, and you'll feel so much more fulfilled at the end of the day. That's my take. But anyway, yeah, I don't think there's much more to say other than the fact that I'm getting to grips with it now. I think it's literally just volume that I've got to put out. And if I can just set a 4 hour timer and just go ham on volume for every day, every single day, I'm gonna get so fucking far, man. And that's what, like, that's 25% of your day, 4 hours. If you're awake for 16 hours and you sleep 8, that is 25% of your day. And the amount of stuff you could get from that 25% of your day if you were just doing it on volume of outreach, when all of the back end's sorted, there's no more perfectionism, it's just straight fucking hardcore outreach, you're gonna get so fucking much from it, man. So I think that's what I've got to do. I've just got to understand the structure behind it to just kind of motivate me to do it, really. I mean, I could do it regardless, but it's a lot easier and a lot nicer if you actually know what's coming from, what the actual return on investment of your time going into that's going to be. It's going to just be like, oh shit, if I do this, right? If you do the maths and you go, okay, so if I'm outreaching to 100 people a day, let's say, for an example, an easy example, you then close, let's say, I don't know, if you're outreaching to 100, you get 10 of those on a call, and then you close, let's say, 3 of them. So that's a 30% close rate, which is, that's like an average close rate, 20 to 40%, right? Let's just say 3 for an easy percentage. And if you're getting, let's say, it depends on what kind of sale you're doing, but these are easy numbers. These numbers aren't going to be correct. It's probably going to be harder to get 10 people you're not going to get 10 out of 100 people on a call, right? But just for the numbers' sake, if you get those amount of people on a call and then you close 3 of them, and each of those, the lifetime value is much higher, but just say that the first deal, if you can actually do a good job on the first deal, if that first deal is, let's say, 10, they're paying 10,000, you get what, a profit margin of, let's say, 3,000 after all expenses. And I'm getting whatever the percentage of that is. Let's just say, for easy numbers, I'm getting 1,000 from each 10,000 deal, which, let's just say you get a 10,000 deal, I get 1,000, right? Okay, work out what the numbers are for that to get a deal. So how many people do I have to outreach to on average to get one deal? Let's say 100 people, just for ease of doing this. If I outreach to 1,000 people, that means for 100 people, I'm getting £1,000 every time. So 200 people, £2,000, 300 people, £3,000, 400 people, £4,000. If that's the margin, right? So it's purely just a numbers game, and just going hardcore, putting your head down and just doing the thing that you know you've got to do, right? So that's kind of my take. I just need to know the actual numbers, because if the numbers are shit, then I'm not going to be motivated to do it, you know? Because I could fucking so easily, if I knew the numbers were good, I could so easily outreach to, like, let's say 150 people a day, 200 people a day. Like, that's more than possible, man. If you just get your head down, maybe it'll take a bit more in 4 hours, maybe it'll take less. I don't know. I don't speak from experience in doing this exact niche targeting, but whatever it takes, man. There's 16 hours in a day. If you're just like, okay, I'm gonna do 100 a day, it's not gonna take you more than 8 hours max, right? It's not even gonna take you fucking 8 hours. But let's just say, for the ease of saying, 8 hours is a normal 9 to 5 day out of a 16-hour day. That's half of your day. If you just spend half of your day, you've still got 8 hours to just chill and not do anything. You're doing 100 people. You're getting £1,000 a day from those 100 people. It's just a numbers game. Once you can work out the numbers, you're going to be so much more motivated. There's like this thing I heard about this guy that knocked on doors every day for a living, right? To sell boilers. If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. He kind of worked it out that he would get a sale every 33 doors, I believe it was. So he knew that he was getting paid, let's say, just for ease of numbers again, £1,000. I don't think it was 1,000, but he was getting paid £1,000 for every 33 doors he knocked on. So if I knew I'm getting 33, if I knew I'm getting £1,000 from every 33 doors, I'm going to be knocking on 33 doors a day, knowing that that's how much money I'm getting. And if I want to make a certain amount of money per year, and the average amount is going to be 33, some might be lower than 33, some might be higher, but the overall average is 33. I then know that if I'm knocking on 33 doors a day, I'm going to be getting £1,000 a day. That's 30 grand a month average. That's fucking unreal, first of all, which, I mean, these are just easy numbers to work with. So that's 30,000 a month. That's £365,000 a year just from knocking on 33 doors a day. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. It's not going to be the profit margin is not going to be £1,000 each time for knocking on those doors. But there are high ticket sales where that is the case. It's simply a volume game and how many people you can actually get on calls. Because the more people get on the calls, the more people you're going to close. Simple as that. And if you can work out the actual stats between everything, and you work out, okay, the problem is here, we're getting enough people on the calls, but our closing rate could be much higher. So we then fix the closing rate. What's the problem with the closing rate? What's going wrong in the calls to make the closing rate lower? Okay, we're not asking enough questions. Maybe we're not handling objections well enough. We're not putting out the fire before they state the fire, because it's a lot easier to deal with a fire that's far away from you than that's completely right in your face, and they just whip out an objection. You're like, I'm on the spot, I need to respond quickly. It's much easier to do it in advance and just kind of like figure out what the main objections are in that niche. Once you've got them sorted, it's bombs away, easy, right? Yes, there's going to be a few obscure objections every now and again, but if you can just outreach and you know what the objections are, and you just realize what the stats are that are the problem in your business, then, man, if you can then fix those stats and make them to a percentage or ratio that you want them to be at, you can double a business's profit so easy, man. You've just got to know what the issues are, and the issue might be the actual salesman on the call. It might be the amount of people you're outreaching to, or it might be the email to which you're getting less responses because the email's the problem. Whereas then you split test and see which one's better, and then you go for that one, and then you maybe split test again to see if there's another one you can do better, and then better. There's always ways so you can make more money by being more perfect, right? So yeah, there's that. So there's this salesman on the call, there's the amount of people you can get on the call via outreach, whether it be doing with a VSL or just text or whatever. If you can just understand where the problems are in the business as a whole, in the whole onboarding, like in the whole process of getting a client, and you realize what the problems are, and you then attend to those problems in the right way, rather than just being egotistical about it and being like, no, this is the fucking problem. You've got to actually look at it from like a neutral person's perspective and be like, there's no ego involved. This guy's fucking shit at sales. We need to get a different guy to do the sales, right? Or maybe the email is fucking shit, even though I might have written the email to which I probably would say my email's fucking awful. If someone said it, I would be like, yeah, that is pretty shit. But some people will just let the ego like take hold of them. Nah, it's not shit. I wrote this. I fucking trust my worth. But if there's someone coming in from a neutral perspective, they don't give a shit whether it goes well or not, and they're like, yeah, that's fucking shit, mate. You need to understand that those things, you've got to listen to another person's perspective, because ego can fuck you up, man. You've just got to. I think a lot of times people are naive and don't look at it from an outsider's person's perspective, and don't like open their ears to other people's perspectives on things. and that's where a lot of people fail in the aspect of business. So yeah, but anyway, I've spoken about so much in the last 20 minutes. Long story short, boys, yeah, you want to it's just outreach, man. It's literally just volume. It's fucking volume. Obviously, it's perfectionism of the messages as well, because that's what we're kind of going for. It's perfectionism of the messages that I'm sending, whether it be emails, messaging, whatever. And then it's actually just straight volume of outreach. And then you can work on the stats from there. But further down the line, stats are fucking important, because if you can realize what the problem is, you can then attend to that problem and find a solution. And when the solution's found, then it might double your close rate in calls. You've made 2 times the amount of money that you were making before. So, and I swear I'm not reading this off a script. I feel like I've been pretty, I don't know. You can have your own opinion on the things I'm talking about and how I'm stating the things I'm stating, but that's my kind of take. And yeah, boys, don't think there's much more for me to say. There is one more thing for me to say, actually. Hold on. My friend is going to be here in the morning at around 9 a.m. Before you ask, it's not a girlfriend, it's also not a boyfriend, I'm not gay. It's just my mate, he's coming over for a few days. So I'm not going to slack on these. They might not be as long. This is a very open plan apartment, so he's going to be hearing every single word I'm saying, and I'm doing it here. So expect them to be somewhat shorter, less insightful, but I'm still going to turn up every day, and I'll still get them done. So I hope this has been a good talking to session for you guys today. And yeah. Please, so the newsletter that I wrote today, the blog newsletter, it will be out on Friday at around 4 p.m. UK time. I'm going to just completely stay posting them every single Friday. It takes about 2 hours, an hour of my time to write these things, but I do enjoy writing them, and I feel like they are pretty insightful. So, and it also teaches me how to write better, which is one of my key things that I want to be good at. So please, if you want to, and it would be much appreciated, subscribe to my newsletter. Link in the description. It says subscribe to my newsletter. You can click that link there. And yeah, would be much appreciated. Anyway, thank you for listening. And yeah, newsletter out on Friday about basically living life day by day and enjoying each moment as it comes, rather than looking in the future. Anyway, I promise you it's insightful, and it will actually open your eyes. I do promise you that. I promise I'm not waffling about stuff. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking too much. You get the idea. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'll see you again tomorrow. And yeah, day 5 over and out. See you tomorrow for day 6. Cheers.